Tom Sawyer lived with his aunt because his mother and father were dead. Tom didn't like going to school, and he didn't like working. He liked playing and having adventures. One Friday, he didn't go to school. He went to the river. Aunt Polly was angry. "You're a bad boy," she said. "Tomorrow you can't play with your friends because you didn't go to school today. Tomorrow you're going to work for me. You can paint the fence." Saturday morning, Tom was not happy, but he started to paint the fence. His friend Jim was in the street. Tom asked him, "Do you want to paint?" Jim said, "No, I can't. I'm going to get water." Then Ben came to Tom's house. He watched Tom and said, "I'm going to swim today." "You can't swim because you're working." Tom said, "This isn't work. I like painting." "Can I paint too?" Ben asked. "No, you can't," Tom answered. "Aunt Polly asked me because I'm a very good painter." Ben said, "I'm a good painter too. Please, can I paint? I have some fruit. Do you want it?" "Okay," Tom said. "Give me the fruit. Then you can paint." Ben started to paint the fence. Later, many boys came to Tom's house. They watched Ben and they wanted to paint too. Tom said, "Give me some food and you can paint." Tom stayed in the yard and the boys painted. They painted the fence 3 times. It was beautiful and white. Tom went into the house. "Aunt Polly, can I play now?" he asked. Aunt Polly was surprised. "Did you paint the fence?" she asked. "Yes, I did," Tom answered. Aunt Polly went to the yard and looked at the fence. She was very surprised and very happy. "It's beautiful," she said. "Yes, you can play now." Tom walked to his friend Joe Harper's house and played with his friends there. Then he walked home again. There was a new girl in one yard. She had yellow hair and blue eyes. She was beautiful. Tom wanted to talk to her, but she didn't see him. She went into her house. Tom waited, but she didn't come out again. One morning before school, Tom's friend Huck Finn waited for him in the street. Huck didn't have a home, and he never went to school. People in the town didn't like him. But Tom liked Huck. Huck said, "Let's have an adventure." "What can we do on our adventure?" Tom asked. "Let's go to the graveyard at night, at 12 o'clock. Huck answered. "That's a good adventure," Tom said. "Let's meet at 11 o'clock. Then Tom went to school, but he was late. The teacher was angry. He asked, "Why are you late again?" "I'm late because I talked to Huck Finn," Tom said. Then the teacher was very angry. "Sit with the girls," he said to Tom. Tom sat near the beautiful new girl. He was happy. He looked at her. "What's your name?" he asked. "Becky," she answered. Tom smiled and said, "My name's Tom." The teacher was angry again. "Tom Sawyer, stop talking. Go to your place now," he said. Tom went to his place. At 12 o'clock, Tom and Becky didn't go home. They stayed in the schoolyard and talked. Tom said, "I love you. Do you love me?" "Yes," Becky answered. "Good," Tom said. "Then you're going to walk to school with me every day. Amy always walked with me." "Amy," Becky said angrily. "Do you love her?" "No," Tom answered. "I love you now. Do you want to walk with me?" But Becky was angry with Tom. She walked away and didn't answer. Tom was unhappy. He didn't go to school in the afternoon. That night, Tom went to bed at 9 o'clock, but he didn't sleep. At 11 o'clock, he went out his bedroom window to the yard. Huck was there. They walked to the graveyard. They stopped behind some big trees and talked quietly. Suddenly, there was a noise. 3 men came into the graveyard, the doctor, Muff Potter, and Injun Joe. Injun Joe and the doctor talked angrily. Then Injun Joe killed the doctor with a knife. Tom and Huck watched. Then they went away quickly because they were afraid. They went to Tom's yard. Huck said, "We can't talk about this. Injun Joe can find us and kill us too." "That's right," Tom said. "We can't talk about it." Tom went in his bedroom window. He went to bed, but he didn't sleep well. Tom and Huck didn't talk to their friends or Aunt Polly about that night because they were afraid of Injun Joe. Later, some men went to Muff Potter and said, "You're a bad man. You killed the doctor." Becky was sick and didn't go to school for many days. Tom was very sad. One morning he said to Aunt Polly, "I'm very sick and I want to stay home from school." Aunt Polly said, "Here's some medicine. Take this and you can get well quickly." But Tom didn't like the medicine. Peter, the cat, came into the room and looked at Tom. "Peter," Tom said, "have some medicine." Peter had some medicine. He didn't like it. He went quickly out the open window and into the yard. Aunt Polly watched Peter. "Why did you do that, Tom?" she asked angrily. "You're a very bad boy. Go to school now." Tom arrived at school early, and he waited for Becky at the school fence. She arrived early too, but she didn't look at Tom. She went into school. Tom walked away. He didn't want to go to school now. He was very sad. Joe Harper was near the school. He was sad too because his mother was angry with him. The two boys walked and talked. Tom said, "Let's run away." "Yes, let's," Joe said. The two boys went to the river. Huck Finn was there. Tom and Joe said, "We're going to run away. Do you want to come with us?" "Yes," Huck answered. "Let's go across the river. We can have a good adventure there." The boys went home because they wanted to get food for their adventure. Across the river, Tom, Joe, and Huck went to the river. There was a small boat there. The boys went across the river in the small boat. They said, "This is a good place because we can play all day. There's no school here." They played and then went to sleep. In the morning, the boys were happy again. They said, "Let's stay here for a long time." In the afternoon, they played near the river again. Suddenly, there was a noise from a big boat on the river. The boys stopped playing and watched the boat. "Listen," Tom said. "The men on the boat are talking about us." The boys listened quietly. A man said, "The boys are in the river. They're dead." Tom said, "Those men are looking for us in the river. We're here, but they don't know that." That night, the boys were sad. Huck and Joe went to sleep, but Tom didn't sleep. He went home in the small boat. He quietly went in his bedroom window. Then he went under his bed and stayed there. Aunt Polly and her friends came into his room. Aunt Polly said to her friends, "Tom was a good boy, and I loved him. Now he's dead, and I'm very sad." Tom wanted to say, "I'm not dead," but he stayed quiet. Aunt Polly went to sleep. Tom went out the window very quietly and went back across the river. In the morning, Joe and Huck said, "We're not happy here now. We want to go home." Tom said, "Let's go home on Sunday. We can go to church. People are going to be very surprised." Sunday morning, many children were at church. They talked about the three boys. They were sad because their friends were dead. Becky was sad too. Suddenly, the three boys walked into the church. People were very surprised, but they were very happy too. At school Monday morning, Tom went to school. The children wanted to hear about his adventure, and Tom liked talking about it. Becky wanted to talk to Tom, but he didn't look at her. Then Tom talked to Amy. Becky watched him and she was angry. She said to her friends, "I'm going to have an adventure day. You can come on my adventure." But she didn't ask Tom. Later in the morning, Tom talked to Amy again. Becky talked to her friend Alfred and looked at a picture book with him. Tom watched them and he was angry with Becky. In the afternoon, Tom waited for Becky at the school fence. He said, "I'm sorry." But Becky didn't listen to him. She walked into the schoolroom. The teacher's new book was on his table. This book wasn't for children, but Becky wanted to look at it. She opened the book quietly and looked at the pictures. Suddenly, Tom came into the room. Becky was surprised. She closed the book quickly and it tore. Becky was angry with Tom and quickly went out of the room. Then the children and the teacher came into the room and went to their places. The teacher looked at his book. "Who did this? Who tore my book?" he asked angrily. The room was very quiet. The teacher started to ask every child, "Did you do this?" They answered, "No, I didn't." Then he looked at Becky. "Becky, did you do this?" Tom wanted to help her. Suddenly he said, "I did it. I tore your book." "Tom Sawyer, you're a very bad boy. Stay here after school," the teacher said angrily. At 5 o'clock, Tom started to walk home. Becky waited for him at the school fence. "You're a very good friend," she said. Tom smiled at her, and they walked home.